Hello and welcome back to the one, the only Welsh Watch podcast. This is episode 2, and if you don't already know, this surrounds all Welsh football. We'll be talking about the internationals, who will be on the plane to the Euros, and maybe even the future of Ryan Giggs. We'll see. I'm your host, Ben Thomas. I'm joined by Tom.
Hiya.
Lee.
Hello, everyone.
Ben.
Hi.
Jack.
Hello.
Should we just get stuck in?
Let's go.
Right, lads, a quick congratulations to the Welsh women who are 4-0 winners against the Faroe Islands in the Euro qualifiers. That takes them second in the group on to 12 points. Goal scorers on the night were Helen Ward, Lily Woodham and Natasha Harding, who bagged 2. Not very bad at all. Right, let's just get straight into the Welsh Watch segment. This segment is just all about the players who played over the last weekend. We'll highlight 3 and we'll just talk about how they performed and if they have stood out and if they may be on the plane to the Euros next year. Also, a quick congratulations to Joe Rodon. He made his professional debut for Tottenham Hotspur on Monday night against Burnley. Although he only made a 1-minute 30 appearance, it's still experience for him in the future. So the first player we're going to talk about is Chris Metham. He played a full 90 minutes for Bournemouth against Watford. Watford, who are a strong team in the Championship and favourites to go up, weren't that bad in the game either. And in the 95th minute and the last kick of the game, he scored to equalise 1-1 and take a vital point for the Cherries. Right, Tom, I'm going to come straight to you. What do you think about his performance? And is his place in the squad for next year's Euros already guaranteed?
Well, I think he played really well against Watford at the weekend. As you mentioned, he got the last-minute equaliser, but he had a very solid game throughout. He couldn't do much about the Watford goal, and the guy that Watford were playing up front was quite a big physical player, and he did really well against him. So for me, he starts every time, like 10 times out of 10, he's one of the first names on the team sheet for me going into the Euros for next summer.
Lee, do you agree with that? Do you think he's one of the first names on the team sheet, and do you think he's already on the plane?
Yes, 100%. I think he should start. He's got Premier League experience as well as Championship experience. I see him on the plane. He's a young centre-back, but he's got loads of experience. So I see him starting. And yeah, he should, if he has a good season, he should be very good for Wales.
How about you, Ben? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, no doubt from me. One of the first names on the team sheet.
Jack, yeah, same as you?
Yeah, exact same as the boys. Totally agree.
Against a solid Watford team as well, in the 95th minute of the game, all the pressure's on, and in that moment is a quick reactions goal as well. So that proves that even if we're struggling, throw the big man up top, get him in the box, he can score a point for us. And for Bournemouth, he's looking like he will be a vital player for maybe their promotion. They might be going up for promotion. And if
Still unbeaten.
Goes into the Premier League, already unbeaten, yeah, like you say. If he goes into the Premier League, do you think that just adds even more to this Euro squad? Because the more players we have in the Premier League for next season, surely that's just more experience for the Wales team next season. What do you think, Ben?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, all the Premier League players that we have in our squad, they make our team look better. Other teams who we're playing on look at us and think, right, they've got Premier League players, they must be doing well. So yeah, any Premier League players we have in our squad are only going to, I say, boost our chances, being what I mean by that.
Yeah. We'll move on to the second player, Ryan Hedges. Many of you may not know about him as he is playing in Scotland. He plays for Aberdeen. He's 25 years old, but he played a full 90 minutes for Aberdeen as they played former champion Celtic. He even scored a goal as they drew 3-3. What do you think, Tom? Do you see the performance? Do you think he played well?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a bit of him this season, and he's looked right most of the occasions that I've seen him. He can play in a variety of positions as well. He mainly starts out wide, but he can also play in the middle, even up top. So I think he'd be a decent player to consider having around the squad. He started off this season well, 2 goals and 2 assists in the first 10 games or so in the Scottish Premiership. So yeah, I think Giggs should definitely look at recalling him, bringing him back into the squad.
Ben, do you think that's a position where we need to strengthen? Do you think Ryan Hedges may do a job out wide for us if he is to make the Euro squad?
Yeah, look, I think we have options out wide. We do already, like with people like Dan James, Rabi Matondo, David Brooks, Gareth Bale. Like we have options, but if he's doing well, if he's getting goals, if he's getting assists, then he should always be considered. And if he continues his form throughout the season, then yeah, get him on the plane, get him some minutes in the Wales friendlies coming up, the USA. So yeah, I'd like to see more of him. But if he's doing well, get him in the team.
On that point, obviously you bring up that we have friendlies coming up in the next few months. Jack, do you believe that Hedges should be in the friendly squad?
Yeah, definitely, especially with the form he's on now. I don't see why not. As it will only boost his confidence even more, and it's nice to see that other players are coming through, especially in those positions, which I haven't seen much of his game time, and I haven't seen much of his him playing. But it interests me, and I'm sure a lot of other fans want to see him perform, especially for the Welsh team. It'd be nice to see how he plays with everyone else. But yeah, definitely, I want to see him have more game time, and yeah, it'd be great to see him play.
And then only 25, he's still got a lot of years in the game. Lee, do you think he could be on the plane? Do you think he could be going to the Euros next season? Do you think there is a position for him?
I think he could. I think the one advantage he has is how versatile he is. But even if he started on the bench, he could come on either on the wing or maybe play in an attacking midfield role. So yeah, I think he's got a very good chance. Why not take the gamble? Because say Harry Wilson struggles or Dan James struggles. I know he's not having a great season so far at Man United. Why not? Many people don't know about him either, so he could show off his talent on the biggest stage.
In my opinion, if he keeps firing on all cylinders at Aberdeen, he's already had a good start to the season already. If we bring him into the next few friendlies, see what he can do, and if he performs, keep bringing him on, keep playing him, and maybe there is a chance for him next season. Let's see what happens with Ryan Hedges. Everyone out there, if you're listening, keep an eye on this player. I think he's going to be a talent in the future. The last player in this little segment is one of the most known in the Wales squad. He's only young, but his name is Ethan Ampadu. I'm sure all of you have heard of him. And this weekend, Sheffield United, who he plays for, travelled to a difficult place to go. And could it get even harder? Probably not. They played at Anfield against Liverpool in the Premier League. He played a full 90 minutes. And to me, he was one of the best on the pitch. He stood out throughout the game. And I'm just gonna go through some of his stats. I'll show you how impressive he was. He had an 89.1 pass accuracy, a one key pass, which almost set up a goal, 6 ground duels won against the Liverpool team, who have got bundles of talent, 3 aerial duels won, 3 tackles, 2 interceptions, and 10 recoveries. Mind-blowing, isn't it? Against a Liverpool team who have got one of the best midfielders in the league. They've got so much talent. They're so strong in the middle. And every time the ball went near him, he just took the ball away. If it wasn't for Ethan Ampadu, personally, I think Sheffield United could have conceded a lot more. And when watching the game, every time he was involved, no matter where on the pitch he was, absolutely class. Obviously, for me, he's on the plane already. And I assume that's the rest for everyone else. What do you think, Tom? Did you see the game? Did you think he was quality?
I didn't watch the game. I've seen highlights, but yeah, he's had a very good season. In a poor Sheffield United team, he's been one of the few that sort of stood out and done well, or relatively well. And obviously, he is gaining quite a lot of experience in both in the Premier League and internationally with Wales. I think he's one of the most capped members that started the game against England in the last international break. And yeah, for me, he's definitely someone that could potentially secure a starting berth for next summer if he continues going at the form that he is.
And against such a tough Liverpool midfield, some of those stats are absolutely mind-blowing. Lee, do you think he will be a key Sheffield United season?
Yes, I think he will. And not only Sheffield United, but I think he's going to be vital for Wales. I think he sits in that pivot between the centre-backs and the attack. And I think he will be key just to break, play down and start all over again. So yeah, I think he's going to be key. And especially if he gets the game time, which I'm sure he will, he's only looking up for Ethan Ampadu.
And obviously, he's a Chelsea player. Ben, do you think he's got a future at Chelsea, or do you think they keep going in time on loan, or do you think he's already ready?
He's 20 years old. He's so young and he's already starting to prove himself in the Premier League now. He's just his passing accuracy. He's got that kind of Connor Cody play out from the back mentality where he likes the balls over the top. He'll play a long pass, and he has played for Chelsea. He's not played as much as he would have liked, but he's getting some real good experience now, and he's already, again, like Metham, he's already one of the first names on the team sheet. So I just don't see him dropping down. He's going to just get better and better, and he's just one of those players you need to keep your eye on because he's just going to improve week by week.
In terms of experience and his overall game time, do you think he will be a Chelsea player next season? Do you think it should be Frank Lampard's risk to bring him back? What do you think, Ben? I
don't know. It's Lampard's decision. If he likes what he sees, he'll keep him in the team. If he doesn't, he'll either send him out on loan or maybe they'll even sell him. I don't know. But from what I've seen him play now, and I know that this guy's a player. He can do a job. And if I was Lampard, if he gets some good experience this season, give him a chance.
Obviously, we've heard the words first name on the team sheet. Jack, do you agree with that? Do you think leading up to the Welsh squad, he will be valuable? He'll be a valuable player. He'll be the first in Ryan Giggs' team sheet?
Oh, 100%. I agree with them. Like in the game he played against Liverpool, obviously the stats you said, they're brilliant. Like you can't fault it. And I think the range of passing that he brings, and always looking forward up a field, it brings something to the team and it boosts confidence for everyone else. And yeah, you were asking Ben about his career at Chelsea. I'd really like to see him have game time at Chelsea if he was to go back. But yeah, with this season with Sheffield, I think he's going to strive. And yeah, running up to the Euros, hopefully his form will get even better. But yeah, definitely on the plane.
For me, it's Ryan Giggs has got to put him into the squad. He will be a main player for God knows how many years at Wales. And at 20, he's got so many years left in his game. And already he looks one of the most experienced in the squad. And for me, Ryan Giggs has got to make a big decision on him. And so does Frank Lampard. But talking about Ryan Giggs, this takes us on to our next point. This little segment is called Future Focus. And today, we'll be talking about the future of Ryan Giggs as the Wales manager. Obviously, when Chris Coleman left, there was a big period where something had to happen. We had to bring in a good name, a young name as well, to manage the young side up. And for me, it might be controversial, but I don't know if Ryan Giggs is the man for the job. I really don't. I think his defensive style of just passing around the back for such a young, pacey team, I'm not sure if that's the way we should go. I don't know who else we could bring in, but for me, I just don't know if Ryan Giggs will cut it. And I know there's one person in here that has a big opinion on this, and that's Jack. Jack, go on. Who do you think, is there anyone that you could eye up as a potential Wales manager in the future?
See, now that's tough. I don't want to go naming any managers which I think could fit for this Welsh squad, because I kind of like Giggs. And I think with the run up to the Euros, although his game style, as you said, it doesn't really fit the team at the moment, with everyone being a lot pacier, a lot of potential with the younger players. But I think, I don't know, just give him time coming up to the Euros now. Like with a few more friendlies coming up, I think he can fit it. I think give him some more time and he could do something with the squad. But I don't know. It's tough.
Ben, so obviously the Euros are coming up. Would you give him that time? Because on social media, on Twitter, after all the results against England, the 3-0 loss, the 1-1 at Dublin, and then the 1-0 away to Bulgaria, do you think he's the right man for the job? Because social media erupted. So many out on Twitter. Do you think he is?
In my mind, there's no doubt he will be managing us during the Euros. I don't see the Wales management deciding to get rid of him in the build-up. I think he will be managing us. I think at the moment, I agree. There's a lot of stir on social media about whether he is the right man. I think in the long run, maybe he's not. That's kind of where I'm leaning towards. But I think he can do the job at the Euros. He can get us through the group stage, and I think for us, for Wales, getting us through the group stage is an achievement. We got a hard group, but looking at him as a manager in the long run, I'm not too sure. I think, agree with what you said. Actually, he's the passing around the back, the not taking full advantage of our like quite pacey attack. I think that's something he needs to look at. But yeah, it's difficult with him because he's young. It's his first real job. So I'd keep him until the Euros, see how he does there. If he doesn't do well, maybe start looking at someone else.
For me, it's such a difficult decision because it is that filling in process where you have to stabilise. And after such a good job that Chris Coleman did, you need that manager that stabilises. And Ryan Giggs has stabilised the squad. But is there a point now where you look at it and you think, we need a more attacking manager? Because like you say, the attack is full of pace. Obviously, you've got Kiefer Moore up top with his beautiful trim. You need players around him that can just build and obviously create. And Tom, who would you bring in? Is there anyone you eye up that you would bring in?
See, that's where I think the problem lies, because I'm a big believer that an international manager should come from the country that they're managing. So you want a Welsh manager in charge. But then there's not really any sort of standout candidates for me for who you'd bring in to replace him. Obviously, you got Chris Coleman, but I don't know if he'd come back. And then another one that potentially I would go for is maybe Mark Hughes. He's quite experienced. He's managed at the top level in the Premier League. He's not.
Has he managed us before?
I don't know. Has he?
I have a feeling he might have. I might be wrong.
But yeah, I think you definitely give Giggs until the Euros at least before making any sort of changes.
There's one name that will pop up in the future, I'm sure, and that is Mike Flynn, the Newport County manager. Lee, would you look towards getting such a young manager in? Obviously, at the moment, he's done such a brilliant job at Newport. He kept them up a few seasons ago in a miraculous turnaround, and he's also taken them to the top of the league after a few games. Would you look towards him?
I'd say I would, but not right now. You got the Euros coming up. As Ben said earlier, I don't think it's the right time to sack a manager or get rid of a manager right now, because that will disrupt the squad, and that's not what you want coming into Euros. But yeah, he's got. Well, I'd say he's got more experience than Ryan Giggs, because from his stats, he's only managed 28 games. Ryan Giggs, is that enough for a manager? I don't think so. So yeah, that could be a potential candidate, but you've got to see what happens in the next few years. If Newport are on the rise, that should definitely be a consideration. One little question: would you take back Chris Coleman?
My heart says yes, because obviously as a Wales fan and what he did at Euro 2016, you are going to take him back. But if you're leaving, would you even come back and jeopardise what he did? I don't know if I would. Personally, I wouldn't. I'd look towards Newport County manager. But for what he did at Euro 2016, I don't know if I could say no. If they brought him back, I don't think I'd have any arguments just for that. But I haven't got a clue. What about you, Jack?
Oh, I don't know, but I think there's a lot of expectation then. Because obviously in 2016, we went so far, and I just think, will I get our hopes up so much that we could possibly do it again? I don't know. I don't know if that's the right call. I think Giggs is probably best leading up to the Euros, because I just don't think there's enough time between then. But after the Euros, I definitely think they should consider someone else. Definitely.
What about you, Ben? Would you bring Chris Coleman back after what he did at Euro 2016?
I'll always love him for that. He's always got a place in my heart. But he left because he didn't think he could take the squad any further than he already had. So that kind of puts like a roadblock in the way, I'd say. So, yeah, I don't think I would. I think, as I say, he'll always be one of my favourites. But I just don't think he will in his head, I don't think he's got anything else he can achieve with Wales.
I mean, it's pretty difficult to go further than the semi-finals of the Euro. But Tom, with such a young team, do you think he'd do better than GIGGS?
Potentially. Obviously, the run to the semis 4 years ago was special, and no Wales fan is ever going to forget that. But obviously, you said there, Ben, he left because he didn't think he could take that Wales team any further. I don't know if you then offered him this Wales team now, with all the youngsters that have come through, the likes of Wilson, James, Roden, Metham, Ampadu. If you offer him that squad, I think any manager would find it hard to turn down.
Yeah. So obviously, the future Ryan Giggs, we're all give him the time into the Euros. We'll see what he does at the Euros. And for all we know, we might even go to the final and win the thing.
You never know.
Well, do you think we're going to win it? Is it?
You never know.
All right, we'll leave it at that part. So, just closing out, we're going to just go through a quick predictions for the week. We're going to talk about all the Welsh clubs. So, you've got Cardiff, Swansea, and Newport. Obviously, they're all having all right seasons, especially Newport. So, basically, Cardiff travel to Loftus Road on Saturday against QPR. Obviously, in the past, it's been a difficult fixture for us. We never seem to win. Well, Cardiff never seemed to win at Loftus Road. And QPR come into this game off the back of a 0-0 draw against Birmingham. They're sitting in 16th place, a few points behind Cardiff. And Cardiff, obviously, a 1-1 draw against Middlesbrough, sat in 15th. So it's 16th versus 15th. It's going to be a close game. But for me, I'm going to go confident, and I'm going to say 2-1 to Cardiff. What do you think, Tom?
I'm going to go 1-1.
Lee?
I'm going to go 2-0. I think Wilson will turn up.
For Cardiff?
Yeah, for Cardiff.
Ben?
Honestly, I think 0-0.
Oh, dodgy prediction. Not sure I'm a fan of that one. Jack?
I probably have to agree with Tom and just go 1-0. Go safe.
All right, so if we go to Loftus Road and get a point, I will take that happily. On to the next one, Swansea versus Blackburn at the Liberty Stadium. Last time out, Swansea were in a 1-1 draw against Bristol City. They sit 6th in the league with 12 points. Whereas Blackburn, they beat a bog-standard Coventry team away 4-0. They absolutely battered them. So, and Blackburn have had a brilliant start to the season. And this is probably one of the hardest games of the weekend to predict. For all Championship fans, I don't know if anyone can even predict this one. But for me, I'm going to say probably 1-1. 1-1. A point for either team would be a great point. What do you think, Tom?
Might be a little bit controversial, but I reckon Blackburn can go there and win. I'm going to go 2-1 Blackburn.
Lee, do you agree with that? Or
I wouldn't say they go there and win, but I think it could be a high-scoring game, so I'm going to go 2-2.
What about you, Ben? Liberty's a tough place to go. What would you say?
It is, and I think 2-1 Swansea.
Think Swansea are going to win?
I do, yeah.
Bold prediction. Jack?
I'd probably have to say 3-1 to Swansea. I reckon they'll get a few goals against them.
Even against a tough side?
Yeah. I don't know. I got a feeling 3-1. You watch.
Great prediction. We'll revisit these predictions next week and we'll see how far off you were. The last game of the weekend involving the Welsh sides, it's the High Flyers in League Two. Newport County, they play at Rodney Parade against Harrogate. Newport are sitting first in League Two on 19 points. And on Saturday, they beat Bradford 3-0 away. And Bradford is no easy place to go. Although they might not be having the best of seasons, 3-0 away is a brilliant start. And then Harrogate, they lost 2-1 to Colchester, but they sit 6th in the league. And in their first League Two appearance, I think that's good. 14 points. What do you think? I'm going to go with a Newport County 3-0. I think it's going to be a tough game in many ways for Newport, but I think they're going to ride it out and go even further at the top and hopefully go up to League One. What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, I'll probably agree with you on Newport getting the win. I've not seen much of Harrogate, but obviously it's a good start for them. But yeah, I think Newport are just a cut above, so I'm going to go 3-1.
Lee?
Newport's confidence is sky high, so I don't see them tailing off or dropping any points. So I'm going to go with a 2-0 win.
Ben?
I'm going to go 1-1.
Of course he is. Of course you are. You have to be the upsetter in the group.
That's what I'm going for. Go on.
All right, we'll revisit that. Jack, what do you think?
I'd probably say 1-0. 1-0 Newport.
There we are. All of us are going, apart from Ben, obviously, Newport win, and we think they're going to extend the top of the league. Yeah?
Yep.
Come on, Newport. Right, boys, that's it for this weekend. That was episode 2 of the one, the only Welsh Watch podcast. If you want to check all our socials, they'll be on the screen. And we'll be back next week for another episode. Catch us then. If you have any opinions, let us know in the comments below, or even get in contact on the Twitter page. Right, that's us gone. See you next week. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Bye.